Okay, this is part two of my intro to media queries. If you watch the first part of this video, or the first section of this video, that we went ahead and built this page just using some basic Bootstrap elements. We've got a nav bar, our Jumbotron, some um, breadcrumb links that you see up here, as well as a couple different sections modifying those styles. Okay, so media queries. The way they work is that I am telling the screen or telling the website that I want to modify this page based on the resolution of the screen or the size of the screen. If we go back to my boilerplate, essentially the way this works is that I've got media, so that is a media query, and I'm saying that anything that's got a min width of 768 pixels. So that's saying anything that is larger than 768 pixels wide, I want to apply these styles to it. Basically, it works like that and moves all the way down. Now, we could modify this a little bit, and I will post this up on a later blog post that media queries work for both screen and print. Now, I went over this briefly in class that if you could basically write a style sheet that will dictate how your page looks if somebody wants to actually print it out on a piece of paper. Now, unless you explicitly want to be able to do that, that's probably going to lie outside of the realm of this class. We won't go over it just because not too many people request it anymore. I have done it personally for a couple clients, but they usually do it for some of their clients who are involved with the hospital industry or some of those people that are just, they're not really quote unquote up to date. So right now we're just going to do, we're just going to rely on screen stuff. So as we back up here a little bit, starting at 768, going up to 992 and 1200. I mean, these are very, very basic, and that's it. So let's go ahead and jump right in. I'm going to go ahead and copy this. If you remember in the previous video, we went ahead and already set up our responsive style sheet. The reason being, as I was saying earlier, is I like to keep this stuff a little bit organized. Kind of keeps it keeps your different stuff going on separate from one another. So I'm going to go and open this up as in another sheet, so it catches up here. All right, here's my responsive style sheet. I'm going to go ahead and paste this in here. Now, these media queries, most likely, depending on the code editor that you're using, they should be completely different colors. Dreamweaver does it. I know Coda does, as well as Sublime Text. Okay. Now let's go ahead. I'm just going to write something super, super basic here, just so you can kind of get the idea of what's going on here. So I'm going to use these medium devices since all of the columns that we used here are using medium 4. So I'm just going to say section background red, and I'm going to say section blue, and I'm going to go ahead and pick a darker blue here just so you can kind of see some changes going on. All right. Go back to our demo page here. Now, as you can see, these have gone ahead and changed colors. Now, keep in mind, I went ahead and said min width of 992. So if we make our screen smaller than 992, everything goes back to the way it was. Okay? This is right here. This would be kind of like your iPad portrait view. Okay? So this is the way our page normally was, but as soon as we go above that 992, everything goes back, starts using these styles that we defined here. So let's go ahead and change these back to normal. Go back to our style sheet right here, go get our values, so section. Oh, I forgot a semicolon here. Okay, I went ahead and refreshed, nothing happened. Well, as I said before, it's because we haven't quite gotten to that screen resolution yet. As I keep on stretching my window, there, as you can see right there, it goes right back to normal. It goes right back to the way we had it. All right. Now let's go ahead and get a little more crazy here. So say, for example, on the iPad view, I don't like my breadcrumbs being there. I like using breadcrumbs, but I don't. More often than not, I don't like incorporating them into my website unless a client explicitly asks for them, or the website that you're working with is just really, really big. Because you got lots of layers of content, and you need to be able to organize them. So I'm just going to go ahead here. I'm going to just make sure I'm not lying to you here. I'm going to go back and look at my code. All right, breadcrumb. And I'm going to go ahead and throw a style in here just called breadcrumbs. Now make sure you say it's breadcrumbs, not breadcrumb, because if we say put that in there, you're going to get a couple different things going on. Now, since I put breadcrumbs in there, come back here to the page, nothing's going to happen. The reason being is because there's no styles applied to this breadcrumbs class. The only reason why I'm doing this is so I can apply some styles to it when it goes responsive. So I'm going to come back to our responsive style sheet, breadcrumbs. And what I'm going to say is display none. Okay. Display none is probably new for the most of you. Essentially, what I'm doing is I'm just telling the page I don't want to show this. The code will still render within the page. It just will not show up in your layout. Now what I'm going to come back down here and do is breadcrumbs display block. Now there's a couple other parameters that you can throw in there to set to display, but just for the immediate purposes, we're just going to use none and block. Okay, now go ahead and hit refresh. In this screen size, as you would expect, nothing is going to happen. Nothing should happen here. Okay, great. Now, this is where it should change. As you can see right here, our breadcrumbs disappeared. Simple as that. All right. Now, this is actually one more thing that I didn't go over in class. The way Bootstrap 3 has kind of changed the way they do things is you can say, yes, within medium and anything above that, I want to do a column 4. Well, say, for example, I don't like the way these are stacking up here. These are basically lining up here in this smaller view. I want them to stay in 1, 2, 3 columns. So the way we go about doing that is I'm basically saying is on a medium-sized screen, I want to do a column 4, and in a small-sized screen, I want to do 4. Boom. And I go ahead and refresh the page. You got some nice columns to deal with. Okay. As you keep on expanding, they should keep on growing. Okay. Now let's say that I want to switch this up even more, because this right here is your medium view. But what about you go back, and this is your small view. I'm sorry, but what happens if you go into your extra small view, which would actually be your mobile view? Well, this one right here, I'm going to do call extra small, and I'm going to do this as 6. I'm going to go and do that as 6. And I'm going to go ahead and do this one as a 12. Let's see what happens. All right. Oh, there we go. Sorry, I was looking at the wrong div. Okay, so here, using it, if you remember from Bootstrap, 6 and 6, so you get a half, and now this one is a 12, so you get a full. So go ahead and expand it out a little bit further. Now it stacks up 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay. So as you can see right here, I have significantly modified the layout just by adding some built-in Bootstrap classes. Okay. Obviously, once again, if you have any more questions, feel free to ask me in class. But this right here is a very basic intro into media queries. Keep in mind, anything, and I mean anything, can be modified in your style sheets through media queries. So, play around with it and get a little more comfortable with it, as these are basically the building blocks of a responsive website. Okay, thanks.